line, this shows, this signifies a constant phase, okay, a constant response. So if I pass this signal, if I okay, is there any concern from any of the side? Okay. One minute. Yes, you will get the material, whatever being covered. There is a concern from Mr. Amitabh Kumar. We will get the material. Yes, yes, material will be posted to you. The coordinator of FTP, Mr. Abhilash Sharma, will post you the material. Definitely, you will get that. Okay. If any concern is there till now, then we can discuss. Otherwise, we will continue. Okay. So we were discussing frequency distortion. So in one case, if this input signal is a Y signal with the frequency from 400 Hertz to 4 kilohertz, if I pass this signal through this particular frequency response, I will get output same whatever was the input, because it is a flat. Flat means all the frequencies are treated equally. However, if I have this response that is shown here, that is from 0 to 4 kilohertz, I mean to say it is working as a stop band, while 400 to further, it is not allowing the frequency above 4 kilohertz. So if I apply this signal to this filter, my signal at the output will be this. Why? Because it will not allow frequency till 4 kilohertz to enter. It will not allow frequency above 4 kilohertz to enter or and exit through the system or channel. Then this is called as your non-linear distortion or frequency distortion. So this is one of the important aspects of wired communication channel that the communication engineer usually talk about. So this is a concern, and there are techniques. One of the important research area at the communication system is how to counter these challenges, how to counter these linearities, how to counter this amplitude distortion, frequency distortion, and phase distortion. Can we improve upon these already existing method? This is one of the research area in communication engineering at the physical layer. One of the important issue that comes in the wired communication is something which is called as the intersymbol interference. So intersymbol interference is, if you ask me, what is the limiting factor in data rate in wired communication system, is something which is called as the intersymbol interference. This is ISI. And this is a very important term that communication engineer talks about. What is ISI? How it affects is something that we should see. So to elaborate it further, suppose we have this particular pulse. This pulse is being transmitted. So when I transmit through channel, then my pulse will not remain as it is. Why it will not remain as it is? Because of channel nonlinearities and distortion. So this pulse will become this pulse. What is difference between these two? Difference between these two, it is a time limited pulse, while there is expansion that has happened in this pulse. So this pulse has expanded. So what happens is, this is a one pulse. Now after that there is a zero. So corresponding to zero, nothing is to be transmitted. So then after there is another one. So another one means something again is to be transmitted. And again there is another one, something again is to be transmitted. So you can see that this particular duration was for bit 1. This particular duration was for the bit 0. This particular duration was for another bit 1. However, this particular pulse has entered into duration of some other pulse. So the pulse which was supposed to be time limited has expanded, has entered into the zone of some other pulse, and that is called as the intersymbol interference. And if I sum these up, what I'm going to get is this. So this particular thing will become this thing, and that is because of something which is called as the intersymbol interference. And this is a limiting factor of, or this is a bottleneck in wired communication on data rate. There are so many techniques which can avoid ISI. Working on these techniques, further improvement of these techniques is one of the area where researcher can find out, or they can work on, or they can find some problem statement for their work further. So another issues. What is another issue with wired communication? The best problem with wired communication, one of the worst problem with the wired communication is outreach or mobility. I cannot use wired communication for my information sharing while I am in the while I am mobile, why I am sitting in a car, or why I am sitting in a, I mean to say, train or some other while moving. I cannot share my data. So mobility is not there. This is a one of the biggest concern, or this is a one of the reason for genesis of the wireless communication. Another issue is maintenance. Another issue is the data. So data rate. So data rate is also limited. This limited is limited because of bandwidth of the wired that is allocated for the wired communication, and maintenance is also a issue. And this is due to the maintenance that most of us are not using dot phone at our home, because so much every time some monkey comes, and every time because of some storm, or because of some other reason, or because of rain, your communication get disturbed. Communication of the landline phone get disturbed, and maintenance become a concern for you. And that is why this is one of the reason for genesis of something which is called as a wireless communication. So what is wireless communication? Why it has come into a picture? So genesis of the wireless communication lies in two. One is the biggest reason is convenience or mobility. Communication on move, mobility and convenience. Easy communication in terrains and limited outage area. Suppose we are in a, I mean to say, area in mountainous area. There are so many villages in Uttarakhand. There are so many villages. Mountainous area is there. How to establish the communication? Laying the optical fiber, laying the physical cable is very, very difficult. So what we have to do is we have something very, very important and very convenient for us at our hand is wireless communication. And again, in that case, your maintenance is easier as compared to wired communication. However, these are the advantages. So suppose this is a particular, even if you are in this particular shadow zone, we call it as a shadow zone. So if you want to lay wired communication, then you have to go this way. This is a bell shape. So, however, in wireless communication, you have to have a central repeater or a central system that will communicate with both the users like this. So this is one of the advantage. Another advantage is even though you are in shadow zone or in wireless communication, the communication happens because of three phenomena. One is called as a reflection, other is diffraction, other is scattering. So what is difference between these three? So you can see from this particular diagram, this particular ray which is sent by this BTS or transmitter, it strikes the building and get reflected. And in another case, so we call this as a reflection. In another case, this is striking at the edge and it is converted into, it is scattered and it is converted into different rays and going into different directions. This is called as scattering. And in another case, the this radio wave, it bends and reaches to something which is called as a shadow zone, and this is called as a diffraction. So in wireless communication, communication happens because of these two phenomena, and this is one of the beauty, and this is one of the reasons that even in shadow zone, even in some of the area where you think, how am I getting electromagnetic waves? You get the signals, and you get the you happens to talk to your relative or someone on mobile phone because of these three, because of collection of these three phenomena. So this is one of the important beauty of wireless communication. This wireless satellite communication, of course, widely used in defense as well as you see these are being monitored and are in touch. These flying objects, maybe aeroplane or maybe drone or maybe something else, maybe defense squadrons. So these are in touch with the satellite communication and the ground stations. So this is how, this is another way it is shown, the same thing is shown in another way. However, there are concerns with the wireless communication as well. So what are the concerns of wireless communication and how we can deal with this concern that we will see now. Sorry. So till now, if you have any concern, you can ask me, any of you. Okay, so let me check. Am I audible? I hope my voice is reaching to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you. So what are the concerns in wireless communication? And these are the challenges for a researcher. These are the challenges for scientists in wireless communication. These are the problem statement for in wireless communication. So this gives us a direction where we can work, where we can find our research problem. So first, one of the important concern of the wireless communication is your low data rate for a given bandwidth. Data rate, if you see, if I give the band, if I give you same bandwidth and power to establish a wired link, if I give you same bandwidth and power to establish a wireless link, then the data rate that will come out in a wireless communication will be low as compared to wired communication. And that too, even if you are static, you will get the less data as compared to wired communication. This is one of the biggest challenge of wireless communication, and one of the biggest disadvantage of wireless communication. And the important area is how to make it equivalent to wired communication, that is to make it the same data rate as we are getting in the wired communication. Which technique should we use so that same power and same bandwidth will lead to same quality of service in both wired and wireless, is one of the important challenging area at the physical layer. So another concern is multipath reflection leading to ISI, that we'll discuss in more detail. And again, you may ask why low data rate? Why? What is the reason of low data rate in the wireless communication? The biggest reason for this is that in wireless communication, we come across something which is called as a multipath reflection. This is not there in wired communication. As we discussed earlier, wired communication is something which is called as a guided media. Guided media means there is guided means interference from outside is least, interference from this source to other is least, and it is not accepting another sources as a it is not accepting other sources. This is the reason. However, in wireless communication, multi-path reflection become a challenge, and it lead to something which is called as ISI, and ISI causes something which is called as a low data rate. And data rate while on static and data rate while on moving also varies a lot. In mobile environment, data rate reduces, while in static environment, data rate is high. Because in mobility, we have to maintain the signal strength. Maintaining the signal strength is very a challenging task. And then we also encounter something which is called as a Doppler effect. Our frequency itself changes at the receiver. This causes a decrease in the data rate. Another important concern is EMF exposure to the living being that we are going to discuss. And another important concern in the wireless communication is high attenuation compared to the wired communication system. So the attenuation in wireless communication system is more as compared to wireless. What is the reason of that? The reason is again the three phenomena. One is your scattering, other is reflection, other is diffraction. So wave which is coming to the receiver is not a direct wave. The wave is not a direct wave. It is coming by any of these three phenomena, either reflection or refraction or scattering. This is one of the biggest challenge. This basically hampers the performance of wireless communication. However, and this also reduces it also increases the attenuation. Attenuation increase means power will reduce, which means that your performance will go down, not only in terms of signal reception, but also in terms of decreased data rate. So these are the challenges, and these basically has caused various opportunity and avenues for wireless communication engineer to work on. And this is why we have shifted from 4G to 5G, why we have shifted from 2G to 3G, 3 to 4G, 4 to 5, and why we are working from 5 to 6, because we want to overcome these challenges. We want to make it more susceptible, more I mean to say beneficial in terms of higher quality of service for given data rate and power. So this is one of the important concern and avenues for the wireless engineers. So if I further explore this multipath reflection or ISI, then suppose we have a BTS, then this ray one is a direct wave. This is called as a direct wave, and this is called as a line of sight communication, LOS. So one is a line of sight communication, and if you see the two is a reflection from the ground. If you see three is also reflection, but it is from the building. If you say four is actually a scattering. So this is a scattering from something, say there is a lamp post or there is something which is very sharp, maybe a tree, it may be a tree, it may be a corner of the building. So it will cause something which is called as scattering. So you can see after scattering, my wave is scattered into different directions, and that is fourth. And there's something which is called as a diffraction, which is shown by F5. So what is diffraction? This is a building, and suppose I'm using my mobile in this area. In this area, there is no direct link. A building is coming in between me and this BTS. So still I'm able to receive the signal, and that is through something which is called as a diffraction. So diffraction phenomena is same as if you put a candle in one room, or if a lamp is there in one room, and in another room, still you get some light, even though light is not, that lamp is not in direct line of sight of another room, and that is through diffraction phenomena. So diffraction phenomena not only happens in the light, it is a part of electromagnetic waves, and it is helping, it is contributing, it is a boon to the wireless communication. So this is causing, and you see, because of these, I am also facing something which is called as ISI. What is ISI? Let us further see. Now, if someone asks you what is a bottleneck in wireless communication, the answer is one, that is intersymbol interference. Now, what is intersymbol interference? Again, to further explore, this is my BTS. So this A path is there. This is called as direct line of sight, or because of this, it will reach very fast to the user. My user is sitting in this car. Car may be moving, it may be stationary. So this is a pulse that will receive through path A. Then I have path B. So this particular pulse will strike this building and will reach to the user, and that is through reflection. So when it will strike the building, it will reduce its strength. Further, there is a delay. So because of this reason, I'm getting another pulse. Because through path B, this pulse has low amplitude compared to the pulse I'm getting through path A, as well as it is taking more time. So after a delay, this pulse I am receiving through path B. Then I have a path C, that is after scattering, I am receiving this signal. So scatter causes more power loss as compared to reflection, because energy is scattered in various directions. So this is the pulse, same pulse I am getting through path C, and I'm assuming that my pulse shape remains same. However, practically it doesn't remain same. Even if I'm assuming this, then still you see same pulse I'm receiving in different ways after different time with different strength. And then through path D, there's something which is called as a diffraction. This particular car is parked just behind this building, and you can see my wave is bent and is reaching to the car, and so my energy is less, and again it is taking more time. So A, B, C, D, these are the same information, but coming at the receiver after different delays with different amplitude, and that too practically with different shapes. And so this pulse, which was supposed to be of this duration, has become the pulse of this much duration. At least 4 time duration will be there, and this causes interference with the another pulse, which will come after this pulse, and that is called as an intersymbol interference, and that is a major bottleneck. Now, what is the avenue for the researcher? Can I devise a technique which will cause low ISI? That is, if I devise a technique which will cause low ISI as compared to the conventional technique, then I will have better throughput, better data rate, and better utilization of the bandwidth as compared to the conventional system. So this is one of the research areas in wireless communication. So another concern that we have discussed. Now, how to avoid ISI? This is one of the important method to avoid ISI. So this is the response of the channel. My channel is behaving very this way. If I design my equalizer this way, then the ultimate effect is a center point. So this is just countering the effect, and this is what one of the important technique to avoid ISI, that is through equalizer. So equalizer is a device that is used in wireless communication, even in GSM, even in your mobile, my mobile, in communication system. We all are using equalizers. So equalizer is basically equalizes or compensate against distortion by having the opposite response. And this is the gist of equalizer. There are so many equalizer: adaptive equalizer, non-adaptive equalizer, zero forcing equalizer. These are the part of the, again, is that one of the research area. Can I design my equalizer that will have a better response as compared to other already existing equalizer? This is one of the direction. So if you have any concern till now, please share the concern so that we can proceed further then. Okay. Any of the doubt till now? Any concern? Abhilashi, can we, now it is 1:30. So can I, hello, Abhilashi, am I audible? Okay. Am I audible to others? Please mention in the chat box.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So I have a last important topic left, that is, okay, thank you. That is safety of the human beings. So shall I cover this now? Shall I glance through this? Or you want me to stop it here itself? Shall I continue for another 10 minutes, or you want me to stop here itself? I have two topics left. One is comparison between 2G to 5G, and what are the EMF exposures. I mean to say safety concerns in wireless, that is EMF exposure. And the last thing is what are the research areas in wireless communication, physical layer, at the physical layer, though I have explained you in between. Okay, so I should continue. I will conclude maximum 10 minutes. I will give you glimpse of a very important aspect, that is the safety of the human being. Okay, so another important concern for the not only for wireless engineer, now it has become the concern for we people also, you and we people, and that is the safety issue in wireless communication. So what is the safety issue? Now you see, I don't know whether you people have seen that some news going around that 5G is causing in many countries where 5G is deployed, then coronavirus cases are more. This is some of the videos were there. So EMF exposure, if you go on the WHO website, if you Google it out, EMF exposure and concern, then you will find that many research have been conducted and is being conducted and is the need of the hour for safety issues in wireless communication. So what is the safety all about? So the safety is actually, we all are now crowded by something which is called as electromagnetic waves, electromagnetic radiation. Again, it is categorized as low frequency and high frequency. For example, right now in my cabin, I have a fan. This is working at a 50 hertz. So this is a low frequency EMF. And similarly in tube light also, in different devices, these are low frequency. However, in mobile phone, we are working in the microwave range. So this is a high frequency EMF or electromagnetic field. So we all are crowded by these fields. And even now smart meters are there, IoT is there. So there are so many crowd. These are affecting in one way or other our health system. These are causing some concern to we people. So what are the concerns we have to see? So EMF is basically classified as ionizing EMF or non-ionizing EMF. What is ionizing EMF? If it strikes to your body and it causes ionization to your tissues or your skin or your I mean to say other part, any part of the body, it is called as ionizing EMF. And if it doesn't causes that, it is called as a non-ionizing EMF. For communication, we use something which is called as a non-ionizing EMF because it is considered to be safe. However, there are non concern with the non-ionizing EMF also because it has tendency to generate heat in the tissues. Sometimes you might have seen if you are talking your phone with your phone just touching your your ears, and you are talking for a long time, maybe half an hour or so, you feel some heating effect in your ear, and you feel stressed. You feel quite uncomfortable, and sometimes you may feel some migraine. Sometimes you may feel easiness or very different feeling, and you may like to cut off the phone. You may not like to continue. This feeling you may not have in dot phones, and this is one of the concern in non-ionizing EMF. That is, it cause various problems. So what are the issues? So actually, there is something which is called as a specific absorption rate. So these EMF, our this body basically absorb these EMF, and these are said to be safe if our specific absorption rate is kept less than 10 watt per kg, and it is said to be safe. Otherwise, it is said to be dangerous. These are the regulations laid by ITU and different government agencies, not only in India but outside also. However, there are so many concerns which have come in the past. For example, you see, D. Carpenter is there. He says that he actually was dean at the School of Public Health, USA, and he says 30% of the childhood cancer are coming because of exposure to the EMF. And in one of the another study, this EMF is classified as class B carcinogen. So there are different carcinogen. Carcinogen means cancer causing substance. So class A means it definitely cause cancer. Class B means it may cause cancer, and similarly class C and class D. So it is basically recommended for class B carcinogen. Similarly, another study was held in France, International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC, and it was done with the help of WHO, in which EMF radiation were classified as class B carcinogenic agents. Again, if they are used for longer duration, they are used by say children, again for carrying women, or with the more exposure, which are not in the guideline. So a very recent study is 2016, in which in the mice they have done some study in rodents, and they have found effect on rodents also of EMF exposure. Bioinitiative report is also saying the same thing, and these are the effect. You may feel headache, impaired immune, tumors of hearing nerve, and brain tumor, memory loss, eye problem, fatigue. You may feel some fatigue, pressure, or tingling in the hand. So these are the effect which they have said you might feel if you are exposed much. That is why hand-frees are recommended for we people, rather than talking directly on the mobile by touching on the ear with the ear. There has to be a gap. Either we should talk on the speaker mode, or we should talk with the help of hand-free system. So these are again one of the important study which was done by Dr. Girish Tyagi from IIT Bombay. And BTS, many of the people are basically opposing the establishment of BTS cell towers in their area, because they basically have known to the after effects and side effects of these BTS. For example, these are the cases of death in different areas which are within 91 meters of the mobile towers. So Radhabhai Sathe, 2005, breast cancer at the age of 66. So what they have done, they have studied and they have found that those who are living within the vicinity of mobile towers, they are more prone to the problems. Okay, so these are even many of the scientists, research scientists, have found and they have recommended the reduced EMF exposure. So, for example, if you go on the, I mean to say, this, if you use this particular website, this is iemf.org. So different scientists who have opposed the use of internet, including Albert Einstein, it has been mentioned on this website. So why they think EMF exposure is causing, I mean to say, you can see Albert Einstein says that if we be disappeared off the surface, and he says that we will disappear because of electromagnetic field, surface of the globe, then man would only have 4 years of the life left. So they are various concerns were there by various reputed scientists about the EMF exposure that is available on the internet. So this is one of the important concerns. So how to address this concern is one of the area. Can we devise something that one of the solution is we must switch ourselves to the wired communication. Another is we must use hand-free, or we must use some device, something that will transmit less exposure. So these are the area in which different researchers are working, and these are the problem statement for them. This is classification 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G. So you can see that one of the important classification is, you can see the bandwidth. So 2G was using 25 megahertz, 25 megahertz 3G, 100 megahertz 4G, and 30 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz. Why 5G is one of the important concern is because of this. Because this is a millimeter wave. This particular range causes a millimeter wave, and this millimeter wave is supposed to have a lot of after effects on the human body. That is why many of the researchers are opposing the rolling out of 5G and other technology which are working in the range above, I mean to say, 10 gigahertz or so. So these are the advantage. Of course, 5G is a very high-speed internet application, low latency, high speed, and low latency. That is why now I am connected with you. I am connected with you with a 4G network. People will be able to download at the speed of 1 Gbps, around 1 Gbps. If in times to come, if it is implemented in the right way. So these are the classification. This is how we have proceeded. So these are the challenges we have discussed that in between. These are the challenges that we have discussed at the physical layer. So this is more about communication at the physical layer. What are the different perspectives? What are the different challenges? So being a network engineer, being a mobile engineer, being a wireless communication engineer, these are the terminologies which we should know, and this will help us to understand better whatever is our subject matter. So now I would like to ask for the question. If you have any question, you please put in the either chat box, or you may, I mean to say, unmute your mic and ask. Yes, your PPT will be shared. PPT and in the PDF will be shared. It will be shared by Mr. Ablashi. Okay, so I'm assuming that there is no concern. In case you have concern, you may mail it to me at amit.ahuja@MIT.ac.in. So I have put on the chat box as well. You may note it down, and you may put a mail as well. You may give feedback also in case you want some topic in this direction, further detailed discussion in this direction. You may request for that also.
Okay, if anyone has any query, please ask. If you want to ask, please ask. Okay. Okay, I think, sir, everything is very much clear to each and every one. Hello. Hello, Amit sir, am I audible? Hello.
Okay. So, Abhilashi, you have some announcements. You may please make
Yes,
the announcement.
Am I audible, sir?
Abhilashi? No, your voice is not coming. Abhilashi, your voice is not coming. You are not audible.
Okay.